And Anna Marie, just kind of tell me when everybody comes on, just kind of a little.
All right, well, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining the Department of Tourism, Hospitality, and Event Management's Tourism Tuesday. So this weekly speaker series will highlight nationwide industry professionals, showcasing their background and expertise in hospitality, tourism, and leisure. So this week, we welcome Jamie Lipman, founder of the Absolute Event. Jamie is a Gator alum who plans all types of events from mitzvahs to corporate functions in the Southwest Florida area. So I'll now turn it over the session to Miss Jamie. Thank you so much for joining us. And just a little word, all of our students kind of come from a majority of tourism and hospitality, but we also get students from marketing, communications, PR, and business.
Wonderful. Hi, everybody. I know everybody's muted, so hopefully you can hear me. I definitely encourage you at any time. I'm very, very casual and informal. So if I say anything prior to a kind of question and answer portion, just jump in and cut me off. Okay, I just am here to chat with you guys and tell you about me and my company and my time at UF and what I learned and how it's been since then, COVID, all the things. So I'm excited to chat with everybody. I actually have been back to UF. I graduated 2005 and I've been back 2 or 3 times to go speak in person to the hospitality and tourism, especially event management programs. I've gotten interns from those programs through the years who still work with me to this day. So obviously, my heart is always with UF, but especially with, your programs. And I am so happy to, be asked to talk to everybody. So a little bit about the background of Absolute. When I was, starting with being at UF and being in the hospitality and tourism college, but a special concentration in event management, that actually came to be event management towards the middle of my freshman year. And I remember when it came out, and I immediately went to the guidance director of the hospitality college and said, I want to switch. I want to make sure that I have my place in event management. And she kind of, shooed me off. You're a freshman. You don't know what it is that you want to do yet. You're going to switch your major 12 times, just calm down, everything was pretty much gen ed your first year and almost second year as well. But I was so gung-ho, and I was like, if ever there was a major that was more representative of somebody, me in hospitality management, great, but event management specifically, I want to be as close to that college and classes and education as possible now. So I was one of those, the only one out of all my friends who knew exactly what they wanted to do. In high school, not to date myself, but I've got to give credit where credit is due. And that really cultivated my understanding of event planning and what it is that I wanted to do. Because in high school, I, planned every pep rally, planned prom, was president of student government. So I basically went to high school to work, but I loved it. And I said back in high school, I'm going to have my own event planning company one day. But of course, I had not a clue what that meant yet. I just knew that that was in me. So go to college, want to switch over to the major, switch over. One thing you're going to hear about me in this next however long we talk, I'm very, very honest. And I think people respond to that. So I am going to tell you the truth. When I was in this major at UF, there really wasn't a whole bunch of textbook stuff that they could teach. I found out very quickly that my education in event management came from me going out in the field and interning and getting jobs around Gainesville that were in any way, shape, or form related to event management. So when I was at UF, I worked for a catering company. Oh my gosh, Aramark, is that still there? Does anyone know at UF?
Yeah, that's still there.
So, okay. I worked for Aramark. I was doing on-site events at UF. I worked for Simply Irresistible. She was a big event planner in town, working on all the major events and weddings out in like Hale Plantation and kind of like horse country of Gainesville. I worked for a corporate event planning company. I worked for a party promotion company. Everything that I could do, I did, because I knew that this is the type of thing, especially that you need to be out in the field.
Did we lose her?
I think we lost the connection. Think so, Anna Marie?
We'll give her a second here. Maybe she'll come back. Looks like she's still on.
Hello. Was that me?
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Okay, I'm back. So a big part of the education in the hospitality college was having speakers come as well. And there were some, really exciting ones and had some cool things to say, but there was a lot of speakers that kind of focused on things that I thought were really negative. And I was able to kind of see through that really quickly. It was, I guess they were trying to convey to college students that if you want to get into the world of event management, event planning, you're going to be working nights, you're going to be working weekends. When other people are off, that's when you are on. And it's extremely time consuming, especially if you own your own business. So there was a lot of like one or the other type that I was getting from a lot of these speakers. And I was sitting there as a student and just saying like, that's bullshit. I am somebody who, whatever it is that I want, I will make happen. And you're not going to tell me that I can't have my own business and have a family, or, and be just as involved in both. And telling me that I'm going to work on weekends or evenings or special holidays or something. I knew how badly I wanted to do this, and that was not going to deter me in any way, shape, or form. So I just kind of listened, but was like, I gotta be out there myself and form my own opinions. And I'm glad that I did, because again, all of that stuff is BS. You can make it work however you need to make it work for yourself and your priorities in your life. So fast forward to senior year, and as part of the program, you had to intern as your last semester. And I am from South Florida, born and raised. So I came back to South Florida to intern with the Greater Fort Lauderdale Convention and Visitors Bureau. Every major city has one. The more, big and popular a city is, the more involved and I guess busy their CVBs are. And if you're not familiar with a CVB, basically they're the mayors of that city. It's their job to know about every single restaurant, hotel, event going on in the city. Their job is to promote tourism. So they need to be kind of like the social cruise directors of the city. Because I was getting into social event planning, and, you have to know every place, you have to know every restaurant, you want to be connected like that and have all those resources for your clients. It was an incredible place for me to be. And I honestly encourage anybody to look into their CVBs in their cities for internships, if that is where you are, if you have something like that needed for your education or the time. I got introduced to so many influential people. I found my forever mentor, and I wanted to stay there and work there. They all pushed me kind of out and said, like, this is where you come to retire. This is, you got to go out, you got to get your sea legs, gain your wings and all of that. And obviously I'm so glad that they did, because I had plans for myself, but I really enjoyed my time there and my exposure to all things, hospitality and tourism related. So after my internship and graduating and meeting my mentor, I don't know, and I know everyone's on mute, so I can't really do like a show of hands or anything, but if anyone's familiar with South Florida and they know the Fountain Blue, so the Fountain Blue is owned by a company called Turnberry Associates. So is about a million other places, and all of Aventura, the Aventura Mall, you know, hotels in Vegas. They're an incredibly high-end luxury real estate development company. And they, I worked for them after my internship and as my first professional job. As I said, my mentor is the president. He was the president of Turnberry Associates at the time of my internship when I met him. And he has since gone back to his roots of hospitality and tourism and is now the GM of the Fountain Blue. So he's a huge person in my life. And, you know, being connected to him has opened up a lot of doors for me. So that relationship and working with such a high-end company started out in my career and laid the foundation for this. I worked in the luxury market, and you might hear me say that a lot, and I don't mean it to like toot my own horn or to sound like, you know, obnoxious. It's just that when you learn about events, there is definitely different tiers, and the luxury market is basically what I think everybody should strive for, because realistically, you never make as much money as you should be making with the job that we do. But you have the best chance of doing that in the luxury market because those are the people that can afford a full service planner. And going back a quick second, when I was finishing my internship with UF and prior to graduating, and I started applying for places and thinking about what it is that I want to do, I actually got a job in California. I wanted to, at the time, be like a celebrity event planner. And I'll never forget, it was right around the time that Kevin Costner had gotten married. And so his wedding was on the cover of People magazine. And when you go to the article, they have a little editor's box that listed all of the vendors. And they had a wedding planner. I applied for the company. I ended up getting the job, making like $11 a year, but you had the prestige of working for a celebrity planner. And at the time when push came to shove, some personal things prevented me from going out to California. And I thought to myself, you know, if I got that job once and it's what I want to do, I'll get it again. But, you know, I stayed here in South Florida, and when you kind of get involved in the tourism industry, hospitality industry, and you do events in South Florida, where do you do events? Hotels or country clubs. I wasn't ready to come out of school starting my own business. I absolutely believe in the experience and getting your sea legs, building a name for yourself. And so I'm not really a country club type of gal. I'm much more a beach gal, much more a hotel, you know, big hotel, all the excitement, all the outlets in a hotel, and the luxury of hotels. So that's where I started my career with Turnberry. I stayed here in South Florida. You know, I knew how marketable I was. I'm going to touch on that in a little bit because don't let me forget, Anna Marie, don't let me forget to talk to them about everyone's marketability and knowing your worth. But I, you know, had huge confidence in doing exactly what it is that I wanted to do. Nobody was going to talk me out of it. I was going to learn, what I needed to do and what it meant to have my own event planning company. And in the meantime, I was going to go to the biggest and the best. And at the time, Turnberry Associates, they still are, is one of the biggest and the best with incredible properties. So I started my career at Turnberry Isle, the Fairmont Turnberry Isle in Aventura, if anyone's familiar. It's no longer a Fairmont or a Turnberry Isle. It's a JW. But at the time, it was one of the most exclusive, luxurious properties. And coming out of college, being thrown into an environment with no budgets and kind of on the highest of high end was the most valuable learning experience I could have ever asked for. I definitely think that if anybody is in the same world as I'm in and looking, to go that route wherever you're at in your career, if you're looking to get into events, if you're looking to start your own company, I really encourage you to start big, because at that point I was exposed to everything. So I had no choice but to learn. When you have unlimited budgets, as exciting and glamorous as that sounds, that's a huge challenge, because options are endless out there. So it was my job to know everything, to see everything, to understand what was going to be the most valuable, how to control those budgets, and make sense of them, and to know everything, to see everything, to have all the resources, to be exposed to what I was exposed to, and then be able to dial it back as I progressed in my career, then be able to decide and take from everything, what it is that I needed, what I enjoyed, the tools that I learned from seeing and doing everything, what my strengths and weaknesses were, everything of value to start my own business. So that was crucial for me. I've always been a big advocate of that, to start big and then go, kind of, I don't want to say work your way back, but scale back as you need to be the success that you need to be. So at Turnberry, I was doing weddings for 850 people. I mean, that was my biggest one to date, but this is like no small potatoes. So I kind of sit here, and you've heard from so many speakers and talked to so many speakers. It's important to kind of know the caliber of events that I do and my company Absolute does, to know that, like, I'm not just sitting here giving you lip service. Like, I've really been in it. I've been in it for a long time, over 16 years, and I've seen really big, and I've done incredibly beautiful, small and intimate types of events. Everything that you can imagine, I've seen and done. And I want you guys to know that I know what I'm talking about. And hopefully I'm saying things that resonate with you as we talk, because again, you probably hear from so many people, and I just want this to be valuable for you. There's a lot of useless information, and a lot of kind of just, smoke and mirrors, and, maybe the glamour of events and those things. And yes, I do beautiful events, but this is some serious, serious hard work. And you absolutely have to love it to move forward. It is the only thing at the end of the day, when you're getting calls at all hours, when you're talking to mom, sister, mother-in-law, friend, neighbor, very busy corporate, presidents and stuff like that don't have time and don't have patience. At the end of the day, all you're left with is your passion for what you do. And if you love it, it supersedes anything else. So kind of continuing on in the journey of how I got to Absolute, I was at Turnberry, the Fairmont Turnberry Isle, for a little over 3 years. And we were doing extremely large scale productions in our events. Most of them were social related: weddings, membership events, birthday parties, 1-year-old parties that were equivalent to, a $75,000 wedding. It was disgusting, but fun. And this was just a different kind of world, a different kind of culture, and a different kind of clientele. So again, for me, being fresh out of college, it was so exciting, because I was doing things that, I just didn't even have time to kind of analyze. Just do. You have the resources, just find it. They want an elephant to bring in, like a Prince impersonator. Do it, find it. It is what it is. So it was very exciting. But at the end of 3 years, for me, in order to be fully fulfilled, it's about the relationships. I could be working at the window at McDonald's, and the people that drive through are going to be my best friends. That's just the way that I operate, and what I want from everything I put into what I do professionally. So, excuse me, water break. So as nice as everybody was, you're doing these beautiful events for them and they're incredible, but it just was another Saturday night to these people. And I was so much more invested in that. And I just didn't feel that I was getting that, in return. As I said, everybody was so nice, but it was just, this is kind of a world of wealth where this was just, it didn't have the same meaning to them as it had to me. So I wanted to see something different. Again, like I didn't start in this to stay in hotels. I knew that was where I needed to, get my sea legs in education, but I wasn't staying long term. So I felt that I needed, before I was ready to start my own, I wasn't quite ready yet. I needed a little bit more experience and something different. So I decided to go to a boutique property in South Beach called the National, of which I knew nothing about. I mean, I'm a native of South Florida. I was born in Miami. The only thing I know about it is it's a like premier Art Deco property. But I just knew I was looking for the polar opposite of what I had the past 3 years. So I went down to South Beach, which, being from Miami, I just never in my life thought I would work in South Beach. It's not really like my, cup of tea. But with all the different places I was kind of exposed to as a second job, as the next job, I actually fell in love with this property. It was completely different, night and day, from what I had known. I was coming from an environment where like the color of my nail polish was monitored. I had to wear pantyhose, my hair had to be just so very, very stuffy. And now here I am on South Beach and it's a free for all. I'm sitting there in my interview and the owner of the hotel like rides up on her motorcycle wearing like 19-inch stiletto heels, walking through the hotel with like her lips out to here and her chest out to here. And I was just kind of like, who's that? They're like, oh, that's the owner of the hotel. So I, totally just different world, anything goes. And they take me to the location of their events, which is outside. If you look up the National Hotel, they're known for having the longest pool, at least in Florida, maybe the United States, but they have this massive, massive, like 250-foot pool or something like that. I should remember. I did enough site visits there, site tours. But we're outside and they're showing me the location of events and I'm sitting there from South Florida being like, outside, like where's the backup? This is crazy. Everything about it, that first interview was crazy. And instead of being scared by that, I was intrigued. I'm just somebody who likes to be challenged. And everything was like, what? Like, this is insane. And I love that. I thrive off of that. So it ended up being the front runner of all the places I was looking at to, make my next move. And I spent the next 3 years at the National. It was such a wedding factory. We did on average 3 to 4 weddings a week. You had people coming from all over the world. So like Europeans or people that are coming from out of the country, having a wedding on a Tuesday, versus a Saturday, there's no difference to them. They were coming into town, they have their families. So here I am now doing weekday weddings and I'm doing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday weddings. It was the most busy property on South Beach. And being so busy, selling and servicing, I continued to make a name for myself with how busy I, kept the property. And they were so good to me there. Our event team, our event revenue was like the main revenue generator of the hotel. So it was so fun. I got to kind of just run it the way that I wanted to run events. And even though my budgets were cut by more than half from what I was used to, the kind of clientele was much more suited for me. It was just, it takes a certain type of personality to want to get married in the heart of South Beach anyway. And it was just very fun, however fancy or formal. There was still a common denominator of just kind of a casualness to the clientele that got married there. And I really respond to that. The hotel also is kind of right in the heart of everything. It's right next to the Delano, everything that's going on around the beach and all the craziness, but it's much more mellow there. And that again is very suited to me. I like to be in the middle of everything, but then choose whether like I want to participate or not. So that was kind of how the hotel was. Everything was dedicated to events and your group. And after 3 years there doing on average of, 3 weddings a week, I still wanted to start my own event planning company. And that's how much I knew, like, this is for me, no ifs, ands, or buts. And going back to kind of how marketable I've always believed myself to be, there's also always been a feeling that I get with work, with everything. When I know it's right, I'm ready to make a change, I start to feel something, and I know it's only a matter of time before I do it, that it's going to happen. Something's coming, but I just kind of, I wait till it makes sense. But I know when that feeling comes, that change is coming. And that's what happened after 3 years, of both properties being exposed to kind of two different sides of things, getting the experience and building the relationships all around the Tri-County area. I was ready to start my own. And I did in 2011, I think it was. Being from South Florida, living in the Broward County area, at the time I was living in Fort Lauderdale, I was working in Miami, and I was from the Boca area. So that's 3 different counties, Broward, Dade, and Palm Beach. And now that I was mobile and starting my own business, having all of the relationships and the connects to the communities that I did, I'm able, to go outside of Miami, to do events wherever now. And that was crucial because Miami forgets there's a world outside of Miami. And Palm Beach County will never venture into Miami. And here I am kind of in the middle saying, like, I'll go anywhere. I have my family and friends in Palm Beach County. I live in Fort Lauderdale, Broward County. I've worked so predominantly in Miami-Dade County. I have all these relationships, and, now they're really coming into play, and I can go wherever. And that was also part of the excitement that still exists today. The clientele that is in Palm Beach County versus Broward versus South Beach versus Coral Gables versus, Brickell. Everybody is so different that it makes the job, never the same day twice. And like most jobs, everything can get a little repetitive, maybe. Maybe the event planning world is a little low, a little bit later when things become repetitive, but nonetheless, it's kind of inevitable that it will. When I'm exposed to so many different types of clients and constantly kind of in different areas, it helps to just prolong that. That's crucial. I run my own business, and I'm planning to run this forever and have this for my children. So I'll do anything to not get, or to kind of ward off getting burnt out, which is another thing that's pretty inevitable in this line of work. So here I am, working Absolute since 2011. We are primarily a social event planning company, full service, which means that I am hired from the start, inception to execution. We do probably like 96, 97% weddings. Girl gets a ring on her finger, and we are contacted very shortly thereafter. We do corporate events. We have some very loyal corporate clients who we continue to do the same types of events for them every year. You can be both, absolutely, but realistically, they are such different things, corporate and social. And just like everything else, you pick one lane and you stick with it and you rock that. That is definitely my belief. I am much more a social event planner. I have the patience for it and the passion, and my friends who do corporate think that I'm insane. And for me, corporate was always just a little too black and white for me, for my liking. Kind of social is just coloring outside of the lines and all the wild personalities and all the stuff you hear, and more. I like that chaos. I can control that chaos. But corporate is a nice breath of fresh air every now and again. So to have those clients that we have is very nice to just kind of sometimes be given the stats up front, run with it, see them on the day of. And social is 10,000 times more hand-holding and problem solving. So, we are doing, we don't necessarily have an average, and certainly with COVID, things have changed a lot. But I'd say, we're in the range of doing about 20 to like 35 events a year. And these are, higher end luxury events. all over the South Florida area and the islands, the Keys, the Bahamas, Puerto Rico. We'll go anywhere, you know, travel. If you're good at what you do, you can do it anywhere. But most people are coming to the South Florida, and you know, this is a destination for them. Half of our clientele are destination business. So 50% local, 50%, you know, whether it's another state, and that's usually New York or something like that, or it's out of the country, coming to South Florida for that true destination event. We're with them from soup to nuts, inception to execution. As I said, typically they come to us, they don't have a venue yet, they don't have anything, they have ideas, they might have no idea whatsoever. They might have a date solidified already, but we take it from there and we outline the entire experience for them up front. You know, we go over kind of the educational portion, which I like to call it, which is showing them an outline of all of the tasks and responsibilities from that day that we move forward with them until their event day. So they can kind of immediately, you know, be provided with a sense of peace. Hopefully, that's the most important thing. You know, you hire an event planner for many reasons, but we are the ones to bring peace to this kind of, you know, I can't even think of my words, but basically it's a, you know, couples, they don't know what they're getting themselves into, you know, they have little tidbits of information. But all they do come to the table with is a lot of noise. You know, they have a lot of noise in their ear from family, from friends who have already been through this. Everyone's got an opinion, good, bad, or indifferent. And they come to the table a little overwhelmed, you know, where to start, what to do. So we take it from there. The sooner they hire us, the better, because, you know, the more blanket canvas they are, the more that they're going to get out of having a legitimate planner. We carve out the, you know, whole experience for them from the front, plant all the seeds up front so that we are eliminating surprises along the way. We go over in that kind of educational portion, we go over all, you know, the budget, all anticipated costs that are expected to be associated with their event. It doesn't mean that everything's going to apply, but again, when you plant the seeds up front, you remove the risk of freaking them out later or having them come back to the table, you know, angry at you. There's enough for them to get angry about along the way, not with you as a planner if you're doing your job, but there's enough for them to, you know, get overly emotional or overly excited about. Emotions run really high in event planning. You know, you have to always remember that this is a one-time social happening. This isn't a, you know, a repetitive type of event like corporate. So it's a huge memory maker. And to most of these people, you know, the average person, they've been dreaming about, let's say, their wedding since birth or very shortly thereafter. I was not one of those, but most people are. You know, lots of these girls come to the table with scrapbooks this big already, a million ideas laid out, you know, they've got it all together. I don't care if you come to the table with that scrapbook or if you have one photo to show me or a color palette to tell me or nothing. We're still going to treat everybody as if they are that blank canvas, because I need to gather what I need to create a once in a lifetime unique event and experience for them. We do not regurgitate events. So if you have more of a modern style, or you want the color palette of white and gold and, you know, pale pink and the most common color palette out there, it doesn't mean that you're going to get the same event that we've done, you know, the weekend before. That's not fair to them. And selfishly, I'm not looking to produce the same kind of events because, again, I will get burnt out. So all of our inspiration comes from that that beginning, getting to know you part in that educational phase up front that continues throughout. But we learn about our couples in ways that sometimes don't have anything to do with events or their wedding. You know, our inspiration comes out of anywhere. And, you know, getting to know them up front and having just kind of these fun, casual conversations and the whole how they meet and their backgrounds and the things that they're interested in all help to paint a picture and start to lay the foundation down. That helps us to create those vision boards and helps us to, you know, pick those special menus and customize the choices to who they are, to, you know, where they're from. It goes into every single detail of an event, which the average time for us planning with couples is, you know, 10 to 12 months, 10 to 12 months worth of getting to know people. You better believe that we want the guests of these events walking away saying that was so, you know, Melissa and Jack or whoever it is. It's more than just saying it's going to be unforgettable. I think that I have 1,000 things more to say, of course, but I do want to stop for a second and just see if anybody has anything to ask or anything I've touched on. Anything to say so far. I don't want to ignore my audience. It's so weird to have a Zoom where nobody's talking back or like interrupting each other. And I need water.
Yeah, feel free to unmute yourself, or if you don't want to unmute, then put your questions in the chat. Somebody says, Chelsea, I love how realistic you are.
Nobody's got time to waste, Chelsea. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. I just had a baby and she's in the other room, and it was so important for me to talk to you guys. So I am going to only feed you with my experience and hopefully things to avoid, and the things that are the most important, because yes, I absolutely believe in as a planner, time is your biggest commodity, and you'll learn that when you see our proposals. For instance, the very first thing that our clients are signing to is unlimited accessibility. You cannot be a full service planner to somebody and not be fully accessible to them. Clients understand, as much as you've heard the horror stories, you know, if you have a good relationship and you're honest in those initial conversations, nobody's going to call you at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, but they have a right to have an idea, a comment, a question. You know, they want to bitch about something, they want to laugh about something. They have a right to call you with that, you know, without checking first, when are you going to be available, or scheduling a call. When they sign with us, they have us. I am available to everybody at any time, you know, throughout the day. And I won't say a normal business day, because again, one of your leg ups in getting the business over another planner is like, you don't shut your doors at 5. People are getting home from work, they're getting home from their full-time jobs, and they want to put on their event hat. You know, they want to put on their bride hat, their groom hat. So it might be a 7 o'clock phone call, you know, around the time you wanted to eat dinner or something like that. But you making yourself available is the difference between you and a planner that might not, and you getting the business. And when you have your own company, just because you're talking until 7 o'clock at night, it doesn't mean that you're, you know, it doesn't mean that you're available all throughout the day. You know, the benefit to that, or to balance that out, you know, have the ability to, maybe you really need to go get a manicure during the day, and you can take an hour for yourself to do that, you know, and it makes up for the fact that you might be on calls until maybe 8 o'clock at night or something like that. Or you might be working at your computer until midnight or something like that on days that you really need to. But guess what? When you're running your own business, you want to, because you're only advancing because of the work that you're doing and putting into it. And there's nothing more exciting or gratifying in the entire world than when it's your own. And no matter the stress, no matter the late nights, no matter whatever, you know, exhaustion or, you know, emotion you're going through, when you're building that and you're getting phone calls for your own services, you are the one that did that. And nothing will push you more.
Actually, yeah, I have a question. So speaking about like being real with your clients, like how often do you have to turn people away and just be real with them and say, honestly, like, you can't afford me? And if you want me to turn on your website and kind of go through some of that, we can too.
Yeah, we can do that in a minute. You know, there's obviously a finesse as to how to do that. I'm 1,000% real when I say that, like, time is the biggest commodity, and I don't want to waste anyone's time, including myself. I'm a huge believer, like I said in the beginning of this, it's not one or the other. I have a family, as I said, I have a newborn baby. there's nothing more important to me than family. And at the same time, I run a business that I want for her and for our future kids. So I can have it all and I can do it all. I'm able to, and not because I've been doing this for so long and I'm at the level at where I'm at. I believed in this from day one. You have to kind of establish your boundaries, parameters, whatever you want to refer to them as from the start. You're going to learn so much along the way. So you're going to deviate. Sometimes you're going to cave. Sometimes you're going to be, very, very flexible as you're building and learning and growing. But there's certain standards that you have to stick to. And for me, I never, ever wanted to compromise on, obviously, the integrity of the services that we offer, but didn't want to compromise on, if I felt that feeling that this wasn't a good fit, didn't want to compromise past a certain point financially of what I was going to, offer our services for. Didn't want to compromise on, maybe the event was on a date that I knew was extremely important for something that I had going on. As I've grown, I obviously have more people that work for me that we can take on the business if it's a date that I can't do. But if it comes down to not being able to afford me financially, you can really feel out a client on that first call. I rarely talk budget in a first conversation. I don't ask the clients what their budget is because I do tell them straight up that they have no idea what their budget is. When you have never done this before, even if your sister got married, even if your best friend got married, even if your parents say, hey, this is all the money I have to give to you, it's still, you have to be flexible in going into this. You do not know what your budget is until you start this process and understand all the costs that are potentially involved, which is part of what we do in that budget consultation. And no matter how strong they are in what they think they have to spend, once we get started, everybody understands that there needs to be flexibility. It's not to say that we're going to, climb so high over what you thought you had to spend, or we're going to be so under, but we don't want to be limited to a number from day one because that's just not how it works. We have to really get to know a client and really understand their vision and their priorities and so many other things before we could accurately give, budget ranges. So we feel them out on that first call. Anna Marie, going back to, how we kind of shoo them off if they can't afford. We're invested in everyone that calls. We want to help them. But as you continue to grow, you feel a little less, bad about getting quicker to the point with them when you know that they're not going to be able to afford. It's going to be a reach. I'm very professional and very kind about it, but the only time I will talk budget is when I see the type of places they're looking at, or they do give me a number, they want to give me a number, and it's just so far away from what an event looks like for that amount of people in South Florida. I have to be upfront with them. Or when they give me a budget that's basically equivalent to what our services cost, I am very upfront with them. I don't want to waste their time. There are always people out there that they can find to do the job that they want. But we provide a very different type of service. And we get many phone calls with, oh, we spoke to this planner and, this is what they charge. They charge so much less than you. How can you work with us? There's always a little bit of, give and take. I can work with you to a certain point, but that's a proposal for, 3 times less than what we charge. And there's obviously a huge difference in the services that we provide and the services they provide to be able to get to be able to allow us to command this pricing and get it. It's not the same type of service. So if that's what you've seen and that's what you're getting, then you're only focused on the bottom line and we're not the right, partner for you.
We have another question in the chat from Ron. How important was the development of networking in the first part of your career?
That's such a good question. It is so important. Oh my God, it's so important. And I still do. I love meeting people, and I never miss an opportunity to meet a vendor who reaches out to me, who I might not know, or who's new to the area, or who I've always been, wanting to meet. So, I understood the importance right away. When I worked for a hotel, every hotel has a preferred vendors list. That they give to any potential client. When you're in the position at a hotel where you're putting together that list, everybody's coming to knock on your door. They want to be a part of that list. So I was exposed to so many people through the years before I started my own business, and had those relationships and built those relationships, and always was trying to grow that list. Or it was so important for me to know, not just to represent when I represented that hotel, but knowing that I was going to start my own business. It was so important for me to know who was out there and to always be up to date as to new people that were coming into the mix, and to build the relationships that I thought were valuable, because I had an ulterior motive. I knew I was starting my own company. And then when I did, I loved to network. I loved going to events and meeting people. I will tell you that you don't want to be that person that goes to these events and sticks your business card in someone's face. You go there to meet people organically. This is my belief, and I'm very pushy in the way that I will tell you you should be like that too. Don't go to these events being that person that's in everybody's face with your business card. Hi, I'm so-and-so and I do this. Everybody has a business card to give. There's so many vendors out there. And if you're just touting your business and you just kind of walk up and pushy in people's face like that, there's nothing memorable about that. You're one of a million cards. The way that I build relationships and relationships that stick and how I remember people is much more organically, professionally and personally. I want to be at the bar having a drink and we strike up a conversation and we're connecting just as people. And then our business comes into play. And that's how I remember you. And that's how you make an impression. That's how I make an impression with my clients. It's about connecting with them. And then it becomes about what I do. So that's how I believe in the relationships of vendors. And again, nothing's more important to me than the relationship. So having a variety, all different price points, all different, taste and style spectrums. This is invaluable for your clients. You need to know what's out there and have all of those resources. So building those relationships and getting to know people and getting involved in the, events community, wherever you live or wherever you're going to be working, is so important. And as you see more and do more, you begin to understand what's really of value for you to go to. Because at any given night of the week before COVID, there was an event or there was some activity going on, and you can be so burnt out by them, going every night here and there. If you're at every single thing, it looks a little desperate as well. So you begin to be able to pick and choose and know what's really of value for you to be a part of, and where you're really building those relationships. But get involved. Absolutely. I've since started my own kind of underground women's event professional support group. So it goes in so many different directions, but it absolutely, it's invaluable.
We have another question from Gabriella. What was one of the most challenging parts of starting your own business, and then how did you overcome it?
So this wasn't really a huge challenge for me, but I know it's a huge challenge for other people. The financial aspect of it, is incredibly daunting to almost everybody. If the old saying, if this was easy, everyone would be doing it. Not having the stability of a biweekly paycheck freaks people out. You have to know how marketable you are to know that the money will come. If you're good at what you do, you're operating in an honest way, and you're truly passionate about what you're doing, the money is going to come. So that's a And you're talking to somebody that I have the most supportive family in the entire world. Okay. They would give me any last dollar that they had, but I did not have a cushion, a financial cushion going into this. Unfortunately, my family, we didn't have that. So I started my business with nothing. Even though I was working professionally before that, I worked paycheck to paycheck. That's the kind of situation that I was in, but I knew what I had to offer. And that confidence, what is the most important thing. I've probably said that a lot, the most important thing, but hopefully you're picking up on all of them. Collectively, they're all the most important thing, but confidence in yourself, understanding your marketability, like I said, what is more important? Absolutely nothing. Nobody could shake my confidence. I knew what I had to offer because of all my time spent on the other side of things, where everyone was coming to my door wanting to be a part of our list. And I was meeting all these vendors, I was meeting all these planners. Instead of it being, overwhelming or a little bit daunting, like, oh my God, there's so many out there. It's going to be so competitive. It was actually the opposite for me. It was the most encouraging. I saw everything that was out there and I still believed that I had something different to offer. So it only revved me up to start my own business. And, understanding how much I had to offer and how confident I was in that never made me scared about the instability of a paycheck. I kind of understood that the money would come. I understood how good I was and that there's just no way that it wouldn't. And when you kind of start with nothing, you really have nothing to lose. So that's the most challenging for, I know, everybody else that I talk to. And so I wanted to kind of give you that little bit of background about me so that maybe if you're on the fence and you're in a position where you're thinking, but you're nervous, especially in these totally crazy, chaotic, times in our world, I still believe in all of that. And it shouldn't hopefully be the thing that stops you. But aside from that, I mean, I don't know that I look at anything as a real challenge of the negative connotation. I do thrive off of challenges, like I said earlier. So maybe even the whole understanding when to kind of shut it down. The first couple of years I had no shutdown, but I don't look back at that as a sacrifice or something bad. I look back at that as it was so exciting. Everything was happening and I was building a business with my own two hands and my time. I didn't give a shit if I had slept a couple of hours or, I wasn't really feeling well or something like that. I mean, I loved being at my desk and at my computer and building a business and focusing even on, time on a logo. I was like, this is my logo. This is what I'm going to put out there. How exciting is that? This is going to be in people's hands. Everything was exciting to me. And that's how you should look at it. I mean, it's scary, yes, but why shouldn't it be, And hopefully if you're considering doing your own thing, you are that type A control freak personality that being scared pushes you and excites you. That's kind of the life of an entrepreneur. Any more questions?
I have one. How have these last couple months with COVID affected your business, or what has it looked like meeting with clients or looking into events and stuff like that?
Well, on the bottom half of me right now, I'm wearing sweatpants. So that's how it has affected me. The top half is done and the bottom half is not. Actually, the top half is not done. With a newborn, you get one or the other. It was either to have my hair good or have makeup on. So I did my makeup and my hair is a mess. But, I knew from the minute this started, this was March 14th. I had a big wedding. March 14th was the last day in South Florida that anybody did events. And that was, so March 15th on, it's been, everything has been postponed. So we were of the, mindset as an event community, just do not cancel, just postpone, postpone your events, do not cancel. This will go away. To cancel your events was obviously, a blow to us. Everyone was trying to navigate those first couple of months, March and April, even going into May. I mean, even now, but people are starting to get like their contract verbiage and stuff in better order. But those first couple of months, nobody had an iota of an idea as to what to do. There were no lawyers that knew, Corona pandemic verbiage, or how to, save a client or save the vendor, or, insurances that covered this. I mean, this was unprecedented. And everybody was trying to band together to support each other, but nobody had a clue as to what to do. So we were flying by the seat of our pants. I luckily didn't have it too badly. I had 2 cancellations that I just couldn't, they were coming in from out of town. They did not live here. Their people were not local, and with just not having any idea as to what was going to be, just couldn't continue a planning or postpone anything. So they canceled flat out. There was a little bit of aggression, not towards me, but towards other vendors, and trying to get money back and collect money. What was difficult is that when the clients did choose on their own to cancel before the CDC made it like, confirmed that was what needed to happen. And when people were just choosing on their own to cancel and requesting money back for events that were supposed to happen that next month or in a couple of weeks or something like that, the work had already been done, maybe not everything, but vendors had already confirmed, equipment or products were ordered, services had already been started, whatever it was, things had already been customized. That when that work has already been put into it, like, no, you can't just get your money back. And you're choosing to cancel on your own. You're not told yet that you have to. And we didn't know in March or April what this was going to be or how long it was going to last for. So, that it was hard on a lot of vendors. Definitely this has made some doors close permanently. For us specifically, as I said, except for those 2, everything was postponed to 2021 and 2022. So, it's still on, and I still have those clients, and it's actually given me the opportunity, because so much more time has been extended onto our planning when so much had already been done. It's kind of given me this time to take a step back and breathe, them as well. Personally, I was able to have a freaking baby and be with my child, and not have to kind of, just be tied to my phone or computer all day, every day. And I still have the security of, business for next year and the year after and everything like that. So it really hasn't been so bad on that front. But I also have, such a big thing happening for me personally. Other people have had things a lot worse and a lot easier. There's been businesses that have thrived because of this. Some high-end bakers that we work with, or photographers that have taken circuitous routes during this to kind of build side parts of their business, or use kind of the virtual to their advantage. My husband is audiovisual and production and works for a big company based out of Chicago. They have completely thrived in this kind of age of total, virtual events. So that's not for everybody, of course. And most planners have definitely all been in the same boat as to everything for 2020. Like I said, that I knew in March that 2020 would be a wash. So it didn't stress me out as much. And as I said, if you're going to choose to cancel, for a lot of people who had a lot of cancellations, then it becomes really tricky, because only until recently, and only with CDC guidelines that are forever changing and are different in every city, and you still don't even understand them. It's been only recently that people have been able to get a real, kind of sense of understanding as to how to rewrite their contracts and how to make sure that the clients feel comfortable, but also that, the vendor's not in a position where if we have to be delayed again, or, if you're postponing your event for over another year and all that extra time we're giving you, but so we have to charge this, or, we are going to increase our pricing, we're not, it's tricky and still being figured out, and you have to know what works for you. And we're just trying to, as a community, speak very candidly about it and support each other. We have a lot of Zoom conversations, and there's a lot of shared contract verbiage, shared policies that we're trying to implement. And for me, I'm a huge advocate as to there being kind of one standard. So if God forbid this happens again, or God forbid this continues and affects 2021 and years after, no matter if you do photography, if you do catering, if you do planning, if you do hair and makeup, whatever you do, there's kind of one standard established. If God forbid we're in this position, you have to cancel, or we need to postpone or something, this is what it is. This is how we operate together as an industry moving forward from it. So that's what we're like trying to do and establish that kind of standard.
Thank you.
Yeah, hopefully that answered. Any other questions, Anna Marie?
Does anybody have any other questions?
Oh yeah, I forgot there's a little chat down here.
There's nothing else in the chat.
Nice. Okay. So I'm trying to, I used to be like, I remember when I went up there before, and I was so gung ho on certain things that I was like, I remember they taught you this in class, and like, don't listen to this or don't do that. It's been so long, so I don't remember. So I hope that the curriculum at, UF has gotten a lot better. I always said that I remember one time they brought me into like the president of the college's like office after one of the times I went up there, and he asked me like, go for some feedback and blah, blah, blah. And I always thought being at UF in such a spirited school, huge football community, the pep rallies, Gator Girl, all the stuff that like the program, you should be so like dialed in together, that the hospitality, tourism, college, and event management and all of that should be the ones that are like really connected and participating in like the campus wide events. It's such a big school for that. So hopefully there's been, kind of more of that. I know the city has grown like so much. It's so crazy when I go up and visit, which is not during football season, because football season is event season. So I'm always missing the games. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to get back there and kind of see what the curriculum is like now. I still have a feeling it still very needs to be like hands-on, and everybody still needs to be kind of out in the field, like doing their thing, to know if this is really for them, because the world of events is not textbook type stuff. No matter how much you try to understand, it's so unique, and the elements change. The role, the things involved in event planning are the same whether you have a wedding for 20 people or 250. But the elements of like and characteristics of the clients that you have are so different that they make every experience so different. And so like your knowledge and resources again have to be like unlimited. And knowing what to look for is, cuts your time in half. Like everything comes back to you wanting to be the most like time efficient and cost efficient as possible when you're doing this for yourself, but also for your clients. If we can take a quick look at my, oh yeah, perfect timing. I know Anna Marie put our website down there. And here's our Instagram. When it comes to the websites for most people, we have a hard time of like updating it. I'm really proud of our website, but like with blogging and all of these things, it's just with social media, that's instant. And so many companies don't have the time to really like, update on their site. And I'm not mad about it. I'm really proud of ours. I love it, but like, we're not big bloggers or anything like that. I'm, very happy with our following and proud of our Instagram. We're forever, growing it. And in this day and age, like that's what it is. If it wasn't for the girls that work for me, like I would have no idea about this stuff, because I'm of the like old world pen and paper, handwritten letters. I am like not a socially tech savvy type of person. and I could care less about it, but it's so invaluable for your business and the growth of your business. And with like Instagram, you can look instantly at what I'm doing in that moment, an event as it's unfolding. You know, we have an event that night, I can post photos and get people excited about it. So obviously I understand the value. Definitely take a look at our stuff, because you can see hopefully from that we don't have a set style. Well, that's kind of twofold. Okay. I think you can see on our site, and that's being pulled up right now, and on your own time, you can look at it, because there's music that plays along to it, which everybody told me was a mistake to have music on your website. And to this day, I say, I don't give a shit what you said, because having the music is so important to me. I think when you sign on to our website, you get an incredible idea as to who we are and what we are about. And that song evokes that emotion, and that's what I want people to pick up on, near and far. So, there is kind of a style when you go to our site, and kind of a feeling you get, hopefully, from the type of person I am and my team is, and, the type of business that we are. But when you go to like Instagram and you see pictures, or you see pictures of our events, they don't look alike. And to me, they're not supposed to, because I'm not a florist. I'm not an event stylist, that has a certain type of style. I'm modern, or I'm very vintagey, or something like that. I'm the planner, and I'm not, prejudiced over any type of business that comes our way. The excitement comes from everybody being different from the last couple. So our photos don't look alike. We've got modern, we've got vintage, we've got funky, we've got moody. We've got small, we've got big, anything and everything. And there's no real order to it, because you're supposed to look and understand and appreciate the variety, and that we don't discriminate. And we've got certain things we do. Like every Saturday we post, like Saturdays are for the boys. So you'll always see on a Saturday, we've got all of our like groomsmen or groom photos. We throw in what we call absolute truths, and just kind of our own, funny takes on truths about marriage or relationships or something like that. Sometimes, we throw in questions like the absolute Q&A, just to kind of gain some interaction. But it's really just all over the map. The common denominator, especially when we post photos of our clients, is that we hope that you feel the emotion in those photos. I can produce beautiful events no matter the size or scale of them, but that's the icing on the cake. I'm a planner that's with these people on average for, like I said, 10 to 12 months. And the way in which we get to know each other, nobody gets to know them better than I do. And that relationship is so intimate and so close, that is what I want to put out there on our site and through our words. It's that kind of emotion and that kind of closeness that makes them love us and refer us, and brings about other clients, or that people looking at our stuff will recognize and think, this is the type of person I want to work with. They're going to be with us from soup to nuts. I feel this from them. I feel the emotion. I hear it in what people are saying about them. And that's extremely important to us. If you go down this, the one on the green, and yeah, that one, that's actually my wedding. that was our wedding. But there's a lot of good stuff on there. I definitely am proud of our portfolio, and it's nice to look back at that, especially that one. Haven't seen it in a while. So yeah, guys, I don't know. I feel like I could be on my high horse forever, but as much as I love talking about it, I hate not like actively engaging. Oh, that's my dog. That's George.
So I have a question. So
Yeah.
Is River going to be a baby gator?
River's gonna be whatever she wants to be. We are just no pressure whatsoever. She will certainly go for visits. very soon, as soon as we can. It's on the list of it's on our top 3 of first trips that we're going to take when we get out of this mess. And whatever the girl wants to do, she's going to do. But I will have absolute for her and established in such a way that it's there for her and her, siblings if they want it. And you guys all have to follow absolute. And we're always, we have a same day policy. So for all of our clients that hire us, for people reaching out to us, you'll always hear back from us on the same day. It might be like later in the night or super early in the morning or something like that. But, we're just an email or a phone call away. So I definitely want you guys to follow us, give us the likes, get involved with us, reach out and email me with any other questions that come up, or as you're going into your next endeavor, whatever you're doing professionally, you need a little guidance, a little fire up the butt, whatever I can do to help you. I definitely love that, especially for, UF grads to be and all of that. Yeah, I'm here for you. And there's a lot to navigate through, and a lot of things that you can cut out. And obviously we don't have all the time in the world to go over it now. And I don't want, to say too much that you guys are tuning out, but however I can help, I'm here and more than happy to do that and be that kind of guide for you.
Jamie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course. Thank you guys. Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course, you guys. Thank you. Stay safe. Be smart. Wear your mask. Vote. You better vote if you're able to. You guys better vote.
Yes, very nice words. Thank you.
Oh, wait. I got to take one little screenshot before we get off here. I have only Alma and Anna Marie photo.
At least you got 2.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks so much, Jamie. We really appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Have a great weekend. I mean, not really, but have a great week.
You too. Bye.
Thanks so much, Jamie.
Thank you. Let me know. Stay in touch with me. Let me know anything that you need. I hope I gave enough info.
Oh, yeah, they loved it. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And
All right.
yeah.
Bye.